finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Iggy, my victory puppy. Earlier today we went on a walk, and you took a dump. And it was better than that game. Like, significantly better than that game I watched. You deserve it. I'm gonna go get you another one. You deserve all of it. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I was supposed to talk. Leafs lose 6-1 in Game 7 at home to the Florida Panthers. Welcome back, everybody who watches exactly one of my videos every year. 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 Every freaking year. The biggest moment arrived. The biggest stage arrived. The Leafs failed to score. The Leafs lost. And I'm just sitting here wondering, where have I heard that before? They take the ice with a fast team. With a team with top-end skill, with role players who know their role, with guys who will hit you, guys who will punch you in the face, a little bit of pushback for once. One of the best defensive signings they've had in decades. One of the best defensive groups, 1 through 6, they've had in decades. They're first place. What do you change? What do you change? Except the jersey. And if anybody resents playing for this team, get lost! Get out of here, you're not needed! There's no sports team on earth like this one. When the Leafs signed Mitch Marner to 10.8, his junior number, whatever, you gotta decide if this makes sense still. Steve, don't be ridiculous. He finished top 5 in NHL scoring. Did you see any of the series? All the proof is there. Unbelievable on paper. Unbelievable in the standings. Unbelievable in the results. Unbelievable to the eye. This year's team didn't back down like teams in the past. They scored playoff-style goals. Matthews and Marner didn't get it done. What happens next? Kyle Dubas last offseason said he was basically willing to bet his job on this core. Either they're going to blow this core up, blow it to smithereens, and they're going to have big changes, or they're going to stick with it and tinker around the edges. When we talk about blowing it up, they might blow it up. You need 16 to win the Stanley Cup. 16! They're not close. If a team is good enough to win the Cup, and they didn't, someone's the problem here. Did the coach have a cup-worthy team underperform? It's that, or they are just straight up not a cup-worthy team. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. What improved for the Leafs in Games 5 and Game 6? They didn't score. The power play still didn't score. They have a core 4 of forwards who can't score. Oh, a couple of them scored. The combo doesn't work. It'd be nice if someone else stepped up. It would be nice. You know, Kerfoot scored 6 points in 7 games against Montreal. You wasted that. How is this team's problem their consistent, overarching theme problem, goal scoring? It's because the mix doesn't work every year. Oh, but this year what? But this year genuinely, for the good of your life. Like, what do you mean? But this year, what do you mean? Okay, like, genuinely, this is the longest run the Matthews era Leafs have had. 13 games. Genuinely, this is the most wins the Matthews era Leafs have had, with 7. You could trick yourself and say, when the NHL, when the morning began, when the sun rose on the NHL this morning, there were 5 teams remaining and the Leafs were one of them. Why? How? How are they different? They beat the Sens. Okay, great. I was happy. That was pretty cool. You gotta win 4 of these things. This current team's record is still 1. This is the worst Game 7 performance this Leafs team has ever put on. Literally no exaggeration whatsoever. And this is what they're known for, is arriving in these moments and playing their worst hockey. How many close ones of these have they had? 1. 2018, took a lead into the third period, lost by multiple goals. 2019, 5-1 loss in Boston. 2020, shutout on home ice in front of no one, by the way, with the conversation about pressure. Can't wait to get to that. 2021, again, in front of nearly nobody. You almost get shut out 3-0. William Nylander gets a late one. 2022, on home ice, the one close one. It was 2-1 against Tampa. And last year in Game 7 in Boston, you lose 2-1 in overtime. You know what? That's close. That's real close. A goal away? That's close. Every single Leaf fan, any hockey fan, any sports fan watching this knows getting to Game 7 doesn't mean you almost won. It's not even close. Dude, what? You lost by 5 goals. 5! Do you understand your team could get swept and lose by fewer goals? From Sportsnet Stats, Maple Leafs match NHL record for the largest margin of defeat by a home team in a Game 7. You weren't almost there. You weren't off by a smidge. You got caved on home ice. And as someone who watched that game from top to tail like an absolute deviant, I have no idea where it came from. Florida flies out of the gate. They look like the far better team. The Leafs have to weather the storm. The Florida Panthers get the first 21 shot attempts of the game. 2-0. It was insane. It was wild. But only a third of those 21 make it on net. Joseph Woll stops all of them. They weather the storm and they start to take back ground. Willie gets a chance. Lawton with the partial break. And Lorentz with the breakaway stopped by Bob. And by the end of the first period, fans cheered them off the ice, because by the end of the first period, you could be convinced that this was going to be a tight game, and you could be convinced this game was going to go in the Leafs' favor. But hark! The Leafs, who were playing so good, allow one odd man rush, and Seth Jones takes advantage and snipes it. Oh no! It's 1-0 bad guys. There's an unbelievable amount of time left in this game. Being down 1-0 is yucky no-nos, but you can come back. Lundell gets one 4 minutes later. Gadjevich gets one 2 minutes later. And in the blink of an eye, this team that never made a mistake makes 3. And they're hemmed. And they're just getting kicked up and down the ice for an entire period of hockey in front of 20,000 of their own fans and millions watching at home. Hundreds, if not thousands, watching outside of the building, in the street. And they're happy to do it because it's fun, allegedly. And after 2 periods of play, the end of the first period ended with a penalty kill that went to perfection for the Leafs, and everyone believes. But at the end of 2, the Panthers outshoot the Leafs 18-5 in Toronto. And who comes out? Max Domi, Maximum Domi, Ty's boy, gets one early in the third. We can do this, boys. Let's go. That barn is rocking. The Panthers tiddlywinks the puck into the net like it's a bottle cap. Domi scored 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the third. Luostarinen scored 2 minutes and 54 seconds into the third. Reinhart, 6.5 minutes later, and with true, sick, twisted sadism, Marchand gets the empty netter. And then, I think, here's the thing. If you only watch hockey, maybe you don't appreciate this as much as you should. But anyone who's like a big old sports fan, the Leafs lose in 7 at home. The ice is littered in jerseys and beer and soft drinks and who knows what, right? You get disgraced at what is definitely the end of an era. Guys are leaving this team. We say that every year, and there's finally nothing left to do but do something. And the Florida Panthers, their head coach, and one of their most tenured leaders in Brad Marchand, they spend their whole post-game availability not talking about the Game 7 win, but showing pity for the Leafs. Which, by the way, I'd love to think that Marchand and Maurice are that classy. I've heard nothing but good things about both guys off the ice. Like, I really have heard nothing but good things about both these guys. I can't help but think that they are twisting and stomping on the knife. Paul Maurice also comes to the preemptive defense of the Leafs. You're going to kill these guys, and they don't deserve it. Puck went our way tonight. That's it. You know what, Paul? You're right. Actually, Paul, you're wrong. On account of this statement falls a little flat on account of you said it like 4 days ago when you hung 6 on the Leafs in Toronto the first time. Well, the puck just went our way in the last 2 games in Toronto. 12 times? The puck went your way 12 times! Where is this puck and which lab can I send it to be studied? Paul Maurice. What's great for the league is hard for the Toronto Maple Leafs and their players. The passion for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the scrutiny these men are under, and is why everybody else gets paid so much. It's a driver. There's a cost to it. Yeah, Paul? Thanks. There's 4 guys on the Leafs that make more than Sasha Barkov per season. I'm sure you know what? It's the fan pressure. You're right. How did all those Detroit teams do it all those years? We'll never know. I'd love to talk to Brad Marchand about the secret sauce that got the Bruins to the finals 3 times while he was there, and they even won the cup in 2011. Was it everyone ignoring them? The Panthers were a joke of a franchise for years and years and years, and they finally built up something good. And guess who showed up? Not silence, not empty seats, fans! Brad Marchand doesn't agree with the criticism this Leafs core receives. They've been working and building something really big here for a while, and they were a different brand of hockey this year. They're getting crucified, and I don't think it's justified. Thanks, Tom. There has been a recent surge in demand for houses made of brick. We now go live to a local resident who isn't very thrilled with that. Mr. Wolf, what do you think? Well, for years, the great people of this nation have built their house out of straw and sticks. And that was good enough, and I don't understand why we have to build these big giant... You get the point! From Dan Tenser, it's a hard league to win in. For example, the Oilers have as many series wins in the last 3 weeks as the Leafs do in the last 20 years. The Oilers! Connor McDavid is the Leafs if the Leafs were one guy. Where he goes, the viewers go. On TV, in person... The Oilers' new arena has a ton of seats in the actual bowl and a massive standing area for people to just gawk up at a screen because of Connor! The Oilers got to the Stanley Cup final last year. They got to the Final Four 3 years ago. And they lost to the Stanley Cup champions in a hard-fought series 2 years ago. Because of Connor McDavid! This guy has to live with the pressure every day of putting up fewer than 2 points in a game and having everyone say he had an off night. Like, all right, okay, let's pretend. Toronto is impossible to win in. There's too much pressure here. All right, give the money back. You know that weird contract you got where you get paid like league min all year, but on July 1st you get a fat check? How about instead that bonus check shows up June 1st, and that's only if you play a game in June for the first time in franchise history. Leafs core 4 in games 5, 6, and 7, 2019 to 2025. Nylander, 20 games played, 8 goals, 8 assists. Matthews, 18 games played, 8 goals, 4 assists. Tavares, 17 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists. Marner, 20 games played, 0 goals, 7 assists, one of which was last game. You get to criticize that. I watched the Four Nation face-off when there was an enormous amount of pressure on Matthews and on Marner. Both of them survived. Yeah, Matthews shouldn't have left McDavid alone. McDavid! He shouldn't have left McDavid alone, but he was filling in for Adam Fox, who previously blew his assignment. You all know this. Before that, Matthews had 2 chances, maybe 3, to end that in overtime, and it would have been done if it wasn't for Jordan effing Bennington. Who assists on the tournament-winning goal that was scored by Connor McDavid? Mitch Marner! He was fine. He was fine because John Cooper put him there on a hunch. You know what? I'm going to do this. And all Mitch Marner had to do is go, there's the best player in the world, and he gives it to him, and he scored. Imagine that! Guys, it is a different team. That's the thing. It's always a different team, and it's always the same. The core is always the same. It is always the same. Always the same. That's why the team is different every year and the same. Because of the cap situation. Yes, the cap is going up. Shut up! Because of the core making as much as they do. And being there every year, the team around them has to be different every year. The bottom 6 is different nearly every year. The D core is different nearly every year. This is the one time that probably won't be the case because every single member of the D core from tonight is locked up next year. The goaltending tandem was so good this season. Would have been sick to have Stolarz. He got concussed. No one at the league friggin' cared or did anything. They're locked up next year too. Cool. They're different, but they're the same. They're different, but they're the same. Every year, the result is different, but the same. Did they go 7 this time? Did they have to overcome a 3-1 deficit this time? Or did they have a chance to win it in 6 and blow it? Either way, they don't get it done. If your main defense of this year's roster sounds like 2024s and 2023s and 2022s and 2021s and 2020s and 2019s and 2018s, then it's invalid. Listen, Marner's not coming back. It might be mutual. At this point, I don't think it matters. I don't think he would. Why would you want to? Maybe the Panthers are right. Why would he want to? Tavares? I don't know. Maybe. Shanahan? Absolutely not. Dude, he's the one straggler. This dude came in to a sad sack team infected with what was colloquially referred to as blue and white disease. And he turned them around with the help of Lou Lamoriello and changed the jerseys and righted some wrongs with Leafs alumni and retired numbers that were previously honored or whatever, and put together this very young, very exciting team. And refused to move off of the Shanna plan. What we didn't realize all those years, about a decade ago, is that the Shanna plan was carved into rock. He talked about having a 5-year plan that changes every day. Remember that? Remember all that? I don't think he was telling the truth. If it changed every day, you wouldn't have Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares and Riley will throw in there on the team each and every year. What's the Shanna plan? Keep trying the same thing until it works? Okay, well here's the thing. Eventually we're all gonna die and the sun is gonna explode. So how many times are you willing to do that? The answer appears to be as many times as it takes to get fired. From urinating tree. If this is John Tavares' final game as a Leaf, let it be known that the Islanders won as many series in Toronto as the Leafs did during his tenure. Ah, yes, the COVID bubble. That thing the Leafs were a part of for, I think, 8 days. What was it, 9, 10? I don't know. Every stat is more humiliating than the next. Every fact is more humiliating than the next. Every year this continues is more humiliating than the next. And putting it on the fans is wildly insulting and wrong and stupid and flies in the face of professional sport. How does any pro soccer player, like in Europe, get out of bed in the morning? Has there ever been the narrative, oh, this team won because no one gives a damn about them? This NFL team won the Super Bowl because all the cameras were pointed the other way and all the seats were facing the opposite direction? All those Lakers teams and Celtics teams and Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Now, for those of you who don't know who LeBron James is, I'm sure you haven't. Let me tell you, he's a very quick Google. Hockey is an incredibly difficult sport. It's a sport you have to survive, frankly. You block shots with your body, you're sore, it's full contact, despite the 82-game schedule, which seems kind of insane when you think about it. The playoffs are 2 months. You're probably going to play like 25 games en route to a final. But what is celebrated in fandom is what? Leaf fans are crazier than Lakers fans? Have you seen a single video after any New York Knicks game in these NBA playoffs? They might burn that city down. Leaf fans politely shuffle into to Maple Leaf Square every year, stare up at a screen as their team gets their ass kicked, and then shuffle out of the square onto our poorly run public transit. And also, Leaf fans are too quiet, and it's a morgue, and it's a library. Oh, pick a lane! Leaf fans firing money out of a bazooka at these guys' faces is the reason why they can take their paychecks and go home and sulk about the fact that they're Leafs. What a horrible existence. We're so sorry. What do they call those statues outside of the building again? Oh, we hate these guys row. It's Legends Row! Several of those statues were built for men who never even got to forget a final. They never got to a championship round here. Statues! I see them all the time. People pose with them and take pictures with them all the time. Listen, it's hard. I understand that it's hard, but I'm not interested, and no fan should be interested in hearing that tonight's loss, tonight's humiliation was their fault. No fan should have to think that any of this had anything to do with them. This is why no one wants to sign in Toronto. I do believe that people think that. I genuinely do. And I do believe that that is a reason why some players won't come here. It's also dumb and wrong. It's so dumb and wrong. Again, the implication is it is easier to win where fewer people care, which I think is very insulting to all the fans in Florida who cheered for some dogpile teams, awful teams for many, many years until this generation of Panthers showed up. It's laughable to any Edmonton Oilers fan, and it's an insult to any Dallas Stars fan. What do you think Gary Bettman's goal was when he helped build hockey like down south, kind of in where it's hot in the States? Was his goal, all right, so here's what I want. I'm going to put like a dozen teams in this like belt here, and no one's going to go. Oh, no. Not like they're going to start bad and no one's going to go, and then they're going to do well and then people are going to go. No. My plan is they start bad, no one goes, and then even if they get better or stay bad, no one goes. I don't want anyone to go. The key to success, kids, is no fans ever! Nashville's so great because it's loud, and Boston's so great. Pick a lane! Ugh. I kind of like the beard. The mustache by itself would look terrible. Listen, we got a brand new Steve Dangle podcast tomorrow. Our annual autopsy. There's going to be locker clean out. I'll probably do a video for that. There's going to be a lot more content on this channel. I'm going to be streaming the Dallas Edmonton series on the SDPN channel. Adam's going to be doing Carolina, Florida. He's doing it because I want the Panthers to leave me alone for at least one round. I wasn't ready for the season to be over. To get blown out the way they did in Game 5. Shut the Stanley Cup champions out in their barn. And then lose by literally one of the greatest margins at home in NHL history is nothing short of cruel and unusual torture. And making it seem like it's anything other than that is the purest form of gaslighting. There's no team in professional sports like this one. They are great. They are getting better. They are the same all the time. I want to thank some people. Everyone who watched any of the streams, especially the people who watched this stream and stayed to the end. I told you about Dylan Earl Foster, someone who I met shortly before Christmas this season. He passed in January. There was a GoFundMe for his family. After the Leafs beat the Sens, a lot of people donated to that. At the end of the stream, I asked people to donate to it again to help out his family. And thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars were raised in literally mere minutes. So I think you're all beautiful people, and I think Dylan's family deserves nothing but the best from you. He was a huge Leaf fan, and he would have loved the Sens series and parts of this one. He's a huge Leaf fan. He would text me every night. He would text me every Leaf game. The dude just loved the team so much. And I've thought a lot about him over this past year. So if the link is in the description, if you can help him out, that would make me feel real good. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I have no idea what happens next. But the team ain't gonna look the same.